So last month in April 2024, I actually hit my best month ever with my company getlistings.com, where we help real estate agents get more listings. And I want to share with you what I did to hit my best month. More specifically, we collected $93,000 in cash collected that actually hit the bank, including account receivables. And I sold personally myself for $176,000 in like contracted value by being like the only one selling on the team as the founder as well. And we got a good profit of $57,000 last month, which is a 61% profit margin. Okay. So this is my best month ever in like business since I started the company. And so I want to share with you, what I did to hit that milestone so you can also learn from it. Okay. So I just want to show you like our tracker real quick. Hopefully my face isn't blocking it, but these are our numbers. Okay. So April, we got 121 calls that were scheduled. And then, I took 101 demo calls, like actual live calls that showed up on Zoom. So that, brings us to like an 83% show up rate, which is pretty good. I mean, pretty okay. I made an offer to all of them. So 100% offer rate. I got one deposit, 22 closed deals, which is an offer to close rate of 22%. Same thing for call close rate. And then we collected $53,000 up front out of the $176,000 in total revenue that I sold in contract value. And so that's a 30% collection rate. And then and you can see all these numbers right here, but I don't really track those for now. That's the breakdown. Okay. Now, what allowed me to hit my best month was a couple different things, but the first one is like having an amazing team handling the fulfillment and the operations. Okay. Which definitely allowed me to like be able to focus, I'd say 90% of my time on appointment setting. So whenever we get new leads, making sure we book them in on the calendar, and sales pretty much all day, every day, 5 days a week. And the other 10%, I'm still like managing the team, leading them, reviewing our product, improving it, and doing marketing, right? Managing our ads to make sure we get enough leads, enough calls, and all that. So as a founder, obviously I'll never be 100% in sales or 100% doing one thing. I'm always like, spinning a couple plates at the same time, but I'm still pretty damn close to being 100% in sales. So to give you context, basically, I used to have a sales team, okay? And I ramped that up to like, I think 8 or 10 people in total, like including setters and closers. Now, granted, not all of them were meant to stay. I hired like in like kind of a batch because I knew like there would be someone that, some of them that wouldn't perform. And so I had to let them go. And just because like, just averages and numbers, like you always have people that are just performing better. So I hired like in bulk because I knew most likely than not everyone would be performing at my pace. Now, the problem with that was I wasn't able to lead as well as I should have because I didn't have that much experience. I didn't know the numbers at the top of my head, like what should be good, what should be bad. In terms of coaching them on giving them feedback, at some point I didn't really know what was next and how to like keep improving their closing rate because I haven't really done it that much or I haven't tracked it. Don't get me wrong, like the first like 5-6 years in my business, I was doing all the sales, all the setting myself. I didn't systemize it. It wasn't like a clear path. It wasn't like a system. And it wasn't also something I've tracked the numbers like I'm doing right now, with the sheet I showed you. So I didn't know like which lever to pull really. I think I just hired closers way too soon because I was done at sales and I'm more like introverted. So for me to talk all day to people, like it drains me right now. I love it. I love to talk to people, don't get me wrong. It's not like I like super introverted and I want to live like, under a rock for the rest of my life. But the problem is what gives me energy is like being at my desk and focusing on systems, scaling the company, right? That's why I was like, man, I'm so done and never doing sales again. Let me just hire some people and they'll do it. Which worked to some extent. Like, don't get me wrong. The first closer I ever hired was like a guy that was also a mortgage agent and also a real estate agent. And funnily enough, in the first week, I think he closed 3 deals. Right. So I was like, damn, I'm onto something. Right. The problem was long term, it wasn't sustainable because I wasn't able to be the best leader as I wanted. And so that's why back in November 2023, I decided to fire all my sales team and go back 100% into sales myself to master it first so then I can teach it to my team. And also I can hire better as well, just because I have a better sense of like what you need to be really good at sales, opposed to like just taking a sales course and calling yourself a closer, which in my opinion is like most people in this industry, but that's a different topic. So that was really it. Okay. Now the second thing I did to allow me to hit $93,000 in cash collected, almost 100 grand, which is definitely above $1 million run rate, by the way, if you do the math, right? 93,000 times 12. And, if you take into account the revenue sold, considering the fact that, let's say obviously we probably won't collect like 100% of the AR, the account receivables. So to give you context, let's say we have a payment plan, right? Let's say the program is 10 grand and they pay 4 times 2,500. Right? Over like 4 months, just an example. Then some of them will default, some of them their card won't go through, whatever it is. So probably won't have, to get all the revenue sold. But if you do $176,000 in revenue sold times 12, that's over 2 mil a year in run rate. So pretty good, considering the fact that like last year, if you watch my other video on YouTube, I made $769,000 in 2023 in revenue in total. Okay. Now I'm not like cash collected. Okay. So a pretty like good jump overall. I'm on the right path. So that's why I want to share this with you. Right. So the second thing I did, basically going back to my point, was maxing out my calendar with qualified calls. So to give you context, I used to have, in 2023, when I went back into sales in November, right here, I was maxed out. I took 98 live calls, like live demo calls, pretty much like the numbers that I have right now, right? I took 101 this month. But the problem was I wasn't qualifying them. So I only closed 6. So that's a 6% close rate. And I was like freaking out. I was burnt out, man. Like I couldn't take it anymore. I wanted to like just stop everything. Like you can see December, like I really scaled back down the number of calls just because I was like so done. Granted, there was also a lot of things going on in my personal life as well. We're thinking about also January, February. I worked, but like really softly. Not as hard as like what I'm doing right now, what I'm capable of, just because again, I had a lot of things going on in my personal life. But to my point here, I was also doubting myself, right? Because of that, because I was like, man, I'm a 6% closing rate. I used to be at like 25%, 20% closing rate. Why am I not converting? Like, what's wrong with me? Am I a bad sales rep? Am I a bad closer? Is it the industry? Is it the timing of the year? There's a bunch of different doubts. And then instantly when I started qualifying people, boom, went up to 19% in March of 2024. Then next month, which is last month in April, boom, 22%, right? So it's increasing slowly. But bottom is like I'm pretty much in KPI right now. Okay. So that was huge for me. And the third thing I did is I focused on building trust. Now, every industry is different. Every niche is different depending on what you sell and what you do. But in my space, prospects are really skeptical just because they've been burnt before by different companies that do similar things that we do. And so when they jump on a call, their trust level is like at 0. Or like -10. Really gotta like build up that trust and like establish an authority frame as soon as possible. So that's just something I'm like focusing on. I haven't really fully mastered this yet, but it is still something that I started doing that really helped me. Okay. Now, here are the next steps, in my opinion, for me to keep scaling, next month and in the next upcoming months. I'm just sharing my thoughts of what I need to do to get there. It's funny because I think a year and a half ago, or 2 years ago on my YouTube channel, I made a video about my plan to making 100 grand per month and scaling my company to 100 grand a month. And back then my plan was to hire setters, closers. And it's funny because now I pretty much hit it with, say $93,000, but without any setters and without any closers. So it's funny. So, sometimes you think you need to do something, but it's something else. You just need to figure it out and, learn as you go. But that's the fun part about, entrepreneurship. So anyways, going back to my point here, what I think I need to do to keep scaling past $93,000 in total cash collected is, first of all, increasing my follow-ups and systemizing them as much as possible. To be honest, right now, I'm like not following up as much as I should. So, and that's because I don't have a system. So what's really funny actually is I hit my best month with no CRM at all. I used to focus on systems, softwares, and I see when I talk to people that are doing similar things as me, like in the smma space, they always obsess over softwares, like new things that are going out. I'm like, man, I used to be you and this is why I was like making less money. And when I realized like it does matter to a certain extent, but like it doesn't matter as much as like I used to focus my time and energy. Bottom line is this, like I hit my best month because I was focused on actually selling and doing the hard things and things that don't require any like softwares. But I do believe that the software is going to help us increase my follow-ups and be more organized with that and more systemized as well. So I think this is where it becomes like handy, but you don't really need a CRM to make a lot of money, in my opinion. So, and all like the top guys I talk to, like they don't focus on CRM stuff. So anyways, the second thing is I also need to increase my email broadcast to max out my calendar a little bit more. Now, 101 demo calls, to be honest, like that's pretty fucking hard. But I still think I can push it a little bit more, maybe like to 110, because sometimes I have no shows. Sometimes I have days where like I'm missing one call in my slot in my calendar, and I could take like one or two more. So I think I can increase that a little bit, but again, there's going to be a cap really quick. Like I can't take 200 calls. That's pretty much impossible. Like I'm pretty much at the max in my opinion. I can take maybe 105, 110, but I don't want to like increase my ad spend to get there. I just want to like send a couple emails to my list, and I think I can max that out. Okay. Then thirdly is going to be creating a system for managing my ads. So my calendar always stays packed. Now I'm just managing my ads here and there, and I don't have a media buyer. I don't intend to hire one right now. I love managing ads and all the marketing aspect, but just because I've been managing ads for like so long, I'm just doing it like off gut feeling. But I hate when I do stuff like that, because that's exactly what got me in trouble when I hired closers. I didn't have a system to give them. So I want to make sure like I can systemize that, also to like free up my time and my mental space, just because if I have a system, it's like really easy. Okay, if like cost per call is out of KPI by this percentage, like cut it or scale it, get my point. So lastly, what I think I need to do to scale is potentially hire closers. Okay. But here's the thing. This time I'll stay in the trenches until one of my reps can match my performance or even better outperform me. Okay. Because like even then I still think I'll stay in the trenches until I have like 2 to 3 reps that can actually match my performance. Yeah. So the reason that is because like for me to give all that, like not that power away, but like that responsibility on somebody else that haven't like proven himself to be like successful yet, like is a huge risk that I did before that looking back was like super dumb. So that's why I'll never remove myself off of sales unless somebody else can come and have like a 20% closing rate or 22% closing rate like me. And then I can say, okay, I'm confident to do it. But even then I still think I'll stay in it because it's one of the highest leverage tasks I can do. So at this point, I think I'll wait until I have 2 or 3 reps that are like in KPI crushing it, and where I'll be bottlenecked. My problem at that point will be, in my opinion, will be like either I'm taking another demo call as a closer, or I hop on a call to coach my closers, but then I'm bottlenecked because I'll have too many demo calls to take. So then it will prevent me from coaching my team, and it will prevent me from being a coach and a good coach opposed to being a player, if that makes sense. So I think that will be when I'll remove myself completely off of sales. But again, it might do it sooner as well. But that would be like the most conservative, most safest way to do it, in my opinion, to make sure that I never go back down and I can sustain around 100 grand a month in total cash collected. That's really it. Now, biggest challenge after this will probably be hiring closers, because again, that's been like really hard for me in the past, but we'll get there. I also know that now that I have better numbers and I'm better at sales, I can also recruit better talent, just because like I honestly like don't need them, and I can also provide them with like pretty good calls and pretty good numbers. Like, if someone were to come in and get these numbers, like they'd automatically make, like $17,000 per month if they were able to match my performance right off the bat, right? Which is like, isn't bad. And that's also considering the fact that I'm doing other things at the same time with the company, like managing the team, a little bit of operations. So there you go. Hope you find this video helpful. If you did, please like it and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.